Christ calls young men to follow him in the priesthood and consecrated religious life in the Catholic Church, to serve him and his people, even in our day and age. I'm a Dominican priest. I belong to the Order of Preachers, but it took me a while to get to this point. Many questions come up along the way, and I had to face them as many young men do today. I remember back when I was in high school, my home pastor, a diocesan priest, Father Shea, he was a great influence on my life. He showed me, by way of his example, holiness and commitment, the joy and the meaning that can come to a man when he decides to dedicate his life to serving God and his church. I remember when I was in high school, and he spoke with me and demonstrated by his example what it means to be a priest. I found it something that fascinated and moved me, but I wasn't quite ready. I went on to college, and I remember when I graduated, I wondered what was going to be ahead of me as the end of my college studies approached. I thought about priesthood then, but wasn't quite sure. But my home pastor was always there praying for me and giving me good example. In time, after wrestling with the questions of a religious vocation and priesthood, I decided to enter the seminary with my home diocese back in North Carolina and found great joy and fulfillment along that way. But God continued to call me to serve him, but to consider doing so in another manner. That is, by way of a religious order. My religious order, the Order of Preachers, our fundamental charism or primary purpose is to preach the gospel, the message of Christ, at all times and in all places. We are about to celebrate 800 years of service to the church when St. Dominic began this great work. And here in the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston, we have been serving for over 100 years, and we are proud to be a part of this local church. Wherever we are called to serve as priests and religious, we do so with great dedication, knowing that we are doing God's work and he will always provide us the guidance and strength. But to get to this point, for me personally, was not always an easy journey, because we have to encounter and deal with questions and sometimes doubt. But when it comes to discovering the true meaning of your faith, then you begin to realize, as I did and as I continually do, that true faith means having a hope, the hope that God gives us, and realizing that we are able to do great things when we put our lives to the Lord's service. I invite young men to consider not just a life of adventure of serving God as a religious and as a priest, but also consider the great things that can be done in the Lord's name when we decide to commit our lives to his service. Yes, the church throughout the world and here in the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston needs priests, needs men who are consecrated in religious life to make the message of Christ come alive in our day and age. It is a task that never ends, but it is a task and a mission that always brings us joy, peace, and fills us with God's strength. Be strong in faith and consider how you can make our world more in line with God's will.